good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV this Tuesday morning. I'm Ashwarya with you. Let us start with the headlines. General Bipin Rawat to take over as India's first Chief of Defence Staff. Lieutenant General Manmohan Singh succeeds General Rawat as Army Chief. Delhi records coldest day of December in 119 years. Dense fog delays over 500 flights, 21 planes diverted, 40 cancelled, 34 trains running late, sub-zero temperatures in many places of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. After 91 infant deaths within a month, Rajasthan Chief Minister orders probe at Kota Hospital. National Child Rights Panel issues notice to the Medical Secretary. Linking of PAN with Adhaar extended up to 31st of March 2020. CBDT also announces payment of 1.12 lakh crore rupees as IGST refund to 83,500 exporters. And world all set to usher New Year 2020 in style. High security in Delhi to keep an eye on revelers. Fire engines on standby. The top story this morning, Army Chief General Bipin Rawat has been appointed as the country's first Chief of Defence Staff. He will take over as the first Chief of Defence Staff on 1st of January. CDS will function as a single point advisor to the government on matters related to the military and will focus on better synergy between the Army, the Air Force and the Navy. General Rawat will retire as Army Chief today. The Defence Ministry had recently amended the Army, Air Force and Navy rules by bringing in a new clause that allows the CDS to serve up to a maximum age of 65 years. In a landmark decision, the Cabinet had last Tuesday approved the creation of the CDS. And before becoming the Army Chief, General Bipin Rawat handled various operational responsibilities in many areas, including along the LOC with Pakistan, the line of actual control with China, and in the northeast. And the Indian Army has congratulated General Bipin Rawat on his appointment as the country's first Chief of Defence Staff. In a tweet, it said that it is a proud and historical moment. And congratulating General Rawat on his appointment as the country's first CDS, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat said it is a matter of pride and honour for Uttarakhand as well. And Lieutenant General Manmohan Singh will take charge as the Chief of Army Staff today. He will succeed General Bipin Rawat, who retires today after a 3-year stint as the Army Chief. General Rawat has been appointed India's first Chief of Defence Staff, and Lieutenant General Naravane is currently serving as the Vice Chief of the Army. Before taking charge as the Vice Chief of the Army Staff in September, Lieutenant General Naravane was heading the Eastern Command of the Army, which takes care of India's nearly 4,000-kilometre-long border with China. In his 37 years of service, Lieutenant General Naravane has served in numerous commands and staff appointments in peace, field and highly active counter-insurgency environments in Jammu and Kashmir and in the northeast as well. He has also commanded a Rashtriya Rifles Battalion in Jammu and Kashmir and an infantry brigade in the Eastern Front. Lieutenant General Naravane is also an alumnus of the National Defence Academy and the Indian Military Academy. He was commissioned into the 7th Battalion, the Sikh Light Infantry Regiment, in June 1980. Let's get you all the weather updates. First from Delhi NCR, at least 34 trains are running late this morning due to low visibility conditions in the Northern Railway region. Now, this comes a day after dense fog enveloped entire New Delhi on Monday, delaying hundreds of flights and leading to several diversions and cancellations. The national capital experienced a record-breaking cold day on Monday as the temperature fell to its lowest in 119 years, making it the coldest December day since 1901. The icy winds added to the hardships of the homeless. Now, the Delhi government is running several night shelters for those living on the streets. The weather department says that cold and dense fog conditions in Delhi will continue due to the ongoing eastern disturbances. A respite from the cold may come between 31st of December and 2nd of January when light rain is expected. However, hailstorm is also expected on 1st and 2nd of January. Indeed, there seems to be no respite in sight from chilly weather as the mercury continues to dip across the northwestern and central parts of our country that are reeling under severe cold conditions for over 2 weeks now. The minimum temperatures have fallen significantly from 26th of December onwards, leading to severe cold wave conditions over Rajasthan, Punjab, Delhi, Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh and northern Madhya Pradesh. On Monday, dense fog was seen in many parts of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, while moderate to dense fog was witnessed in parts of Punjab, Chandigarh, West Rajasthan. And the Dal Lake froze over with the Srinagar at a minimum of minus 6.5 degrees Celsius and Jammu recording its coldest night in a decade with 2.4 degrees Celsius. In its latest forecast, the Met Department is expecting a fresh spell of rainfall or snowfall over Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh over the next 4 days, and scattered rains over Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi due to a western disturbance which has impacted the western Himalayan region. On to some other news now. The last date for the mandatory linking of the permanent account number or PAN with Adhaar has been extended till March 2020. The earlier deadline was the 31st of December 2019. Now, this is the 8th time that the Central Board of Direct Taxes has extended the deadline for individuals to link their PAN with Adhaar. The Supreme Court in September last year had declared the centre's flagship Adhaar scheme as constitutionally valid and had said that the biometric ID would remain mandatory for the filing of IT returns and allotment of PAN. And the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs has said that the exporters have been paid over 1,12,000 crore rupees as integrated GST refunds. Over 83,000 exporters have benefited. The board said that this shows the government's efforts to fast-track refunds under the GST, especially to exporters. As of now, refunds of only 3,604 crores are pending now with the customs. The department also said that it is using data analytics to identify risky exporters that take input tax credit fraudulently and monetize it by paying IGST and taking refund. Now, such exporters are being subjected to KYC and verification process before the grant of refund. On to some other news. The RBI on Monday released a draft circular for urban cooperative banks or UCBs on the limits of their exposure to single and group borrowers. The circular also lays down lending targets to priority sector. And the move comes in the wake of the recent frauds at the Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank. The RBI circular stipulates that prudential exposure limits for the UCBs for a single borrower and a group of connected borrowers will be 10% and 25% respectively of their Tier 1 capital. At least 50% of their loan portfolio will comprise loans not more than 25 lakh rupees per borrower, and the target for loans and advances to priority sector will be increased to 75% of the adjusted net bank credit or the credit equivalent amount of off-balance sheet exposure, whichever is highest by 31st of March 2023. And General Bipin Rawat is to take over as India's first Chief of Defence Staff. He's addressing the media. Let's cut across live.
सर कितना बड़ा दिन है चीफ के तौर पर, औपचारिक तौर पर आपका नाम घोषित किया गया और जो चीफ बनने वाले हैं उनके लिए क्या कहेंगे और जवानों के लिए सभी लोगों को
कार्रवाई करूँगी। आज मैं सेवानिवृत्त हो रहा हूँ, आज मुझे पहले सेवानिवृत्त मैं आपके जरिए भारतीय सेना के प्रत्येक जवान और अहदेदारों को बधाई देना चाहता हूं, उनका धन्यवाद करता हूं कि पिछले 3 सालों में जिस तरह से सभी ने मिलकर जो सहयोग दिया, उन्हीं के सहयोग के कारण मैं सफलतापूर्वक अपना कार्यकाल आपके जरिए सभी को, उनके परिवार वालों को, हमारे वीर नारी वीर माताएं, हमारे वेटरन्स के परिवार वाले, हमारे साथ डिफेंस सिविलियन जो साथ तैनात रहते हैं, सबने जिस तरह से एकजुट होकर कार्रवाई की है, वो सब बधाईबद्ध हैं। इस अवसर में उनको नववर्ष की शुभकामनाएं भी देना चाहता हूँ। मैं आपको ये कहना चाहता हूँ, भारतीय सेना में चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ एक सिर्फ पद है। चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ केवल अकेला काम नहीं है, उसको काम करने में, कर्तव्य पालन करने में सहयोग मिलता है उसके जवानों द्वारा। अहदेदार चाहे वो जिस रैंक पर तैनात हों, सभी के सहयोग के द्वारा जिस टीम वर्क से भारतीय सेना काम करती है, तभी हमें सफलता मिलती है।
All right, so that was General Bipin Rawat addressing the media. He's going to take over as India's first Chief of Defence Staff, or the CDS. On to some other news now. In the past 1 year, Indian Railways has achieved several milestones and enumerating them, Railway Board Chief Vinod Kumar Yadav said that there have not been even a single casualty in rail accidents this year. He also asserted that the punctuality of trains has improved. Yadav said that the national transporter will work towards providing better facilities to the passengers and will run more trains, besides taking steps to improve the safety of passengers.
रेलों का जो रख रखाव है वो काफ़ी सुधरा और उसके ये रिजल्ट्स आए। अगर आप डेटा देखेंगे तो जो रेलों की वजह से जो भी थोड़ा डिरेलमेंट होते हैं उसमें काफ़ी कमी आई और उसका ये नतीजा निकला कि इस साल हमारी सेफ्टी का स्टैंडर्ड बहुत अच्छा रहा। दूसरा जो मुद्दा हमने किया, पंक्चुअलिटी ऑफ ट्रेन्स का। सेफ्टी हमारी पहली इम्पॉर्टेंस होती है, उसके बाद जस्ट सेफ्टी के बाद हमारा दूसरा आता है कि पैसेंजर ट्रेन पंक्चुअलिटी। और ये पंक्चुअलिटी अगर हम देखें, इस साल जो पंक्चुअलिटी है करीब 76% है और पिछले साल से कंपेयर करें इसी पीरियड में तो 68% है। तो 8% पंक्चुअलिटी का इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ और सेफ्टी में इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ। और फेस रिकग्निशन सॉफ्टवेयर लगा के इसको पूरा एक एनालिटिक्स के थ्रू अगर कोई अपराधी कहीं पे अपराध करता हुआ पाया गया, वो उसका फेस रिकग्नाइज करके आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस सिस्टम अपने पास स्टोर करेगा और वो अपराधी भारतीय रेल के किसी भी कोने में कहीं अगर वो पाया गया, चाहे ट्रेन में देखा गया या कहीं देखा गया, तो एक अलर्ट आ जाएगा। जो आने वाला वित्तीय वर्ष है उसमें हमारे सारे स्टेशनों पे वाईफाई हो जाएगा।
News from Rajasthan now, where the number of infants who died during treatment at the Gehlot hospital in Kota continues to rise. As many as 14 infants have died at the medical facility within the last 5 years, taking the toll in December to 91. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has set up a high-level committee of expert doctors and subject experts to inquire the cases of deaths of newborns and submit a report at the earliest. The three-member team will submit its report in 2 days. Meanwhile, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights during an inspection at the hospital found serious lapses, following which the chairperson has issued a show-cause notice to the Secretary of the Medical Education Department in Rajasthan, seeking an action-taken report from him within 3 working days. India is getting closer to achieving its sustainable development goals, according to the Niti Aayog's SDG India Index 2019 that was released on Monday. India's composite score improved from 57 in 2018 to 60 in 2019, with major success in efforts to provide water and sanitation, power and industry. Kerala retained the top rank with a score of 70, and Himachal Pradesh took the second spot, while Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Telangana shared the third spot. The Chandigarh Union Territory maintained the top spot among the union territories with a score of 70. According to SDG India Index 2019, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha and Sikkim showed maximum improvement. Bihar, Jharkhand and Arunachal Pradesh were the worst performing states on SDGs. Now, speaking at the event, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar said that southern states have done well in health. However, nutrition and gender continue to be problem areas for the country. The SDG India Index, launched last year by Niti Aayog with the help of United Nations, took into account 16 out of 17 goals specified by the United Nations as SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals.
India itself has improved by 3 points from 57 to 60. None of these states are now below 50, which is again very good news. You got 8 which are in the sort of front runner categories, and and 5 which are in the sort of next category.
The fact that through the SDG index, India has been able to be the first country to have a government-led, nationwide, systematic, subnational measure of progress across the country.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Monday said that students must be taught to become responsible, socially conscious citizens. Addressing the 27th edition of the National Children's Science Congress in Kerala, he said that the real purpose of science and technology was to improve the lives of people. He stressed the need to reorient the education system to include practical aspects of scientific development. The Vice President also urged the youth to upgrade their skills to be in sync with the changing job scenario in the 21st century.
Students must always remember this. This is important to inculcate scientific temper in our young minds, which will go a long way in the technological progress of this country. Scientific temper is very much required. We must understand the advancements in science and technology, and innovation will be of no use if they remain in laboratories. If the innovation is confined to lab, it will not serve any purpose. So, lab to land, that should be the focus. We must come out with new ideas, how to improve agriculture, new methods, how to minimize water usage, how to produce more crop, per drop more crop, reduce, reuse, recycle, and how to preserve and conserve the resources that are available.
The BJP on Monday organized a Vishal Vyapari Sammelan, a traders' meet at the Talkatora Stadium in New Delhi. Addressing the conference, Union Minister Piyush Goyal said that the BJP is trying to provide facilities to the people of Delhi.
अलग अलग विषयों के बारे में जब हम आकलन लेते हैं तो ध्यान में आता है कि सरकार चलाने के 2 तरीके हैं। एक है प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का तरीका, जो पहले दिन से सरकार में चुनने जाने के पहले दिन से काम में लग जाती है, सुधार में लग जाती है, बदलाव में लग जाती है। और दूसरा तरीका हमने देखा दिल्ली में केजरीवाल साहब का। वो समझते हैं कि पहले 57 महीने हमको कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए, लोग भूल भाल जाएंगे हमने कुछ काम किया तो। सिर्फ आखिरी के 3 महीने में चुनाव जब नजदीक आते हैं तब उनके ध्यान में आता है कि चलो अब इश्तिहार देना शुरू करते हैं।
Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said that more than 40 lakh people in Delhi were staying in unauthorized colonies. Let's take a listen.
कहाँ है ये अनऑथराइज्ड कॉलोनीज? ये लिस्ट मैंने नहीं बनाई, ये दिल्ली सरकार की वेबसाइट पे 2008 से ये अनऑथराइज्ड कॉलोनीज जो हैं इनकी पूरी लिस्ट है। जब 2017 के बाद 2 साल हो चुके और 2019 में पहुंचे तो मैंने दोबारा पूछा तो उन्होंने लिखित में बोला और दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में एक एफिडेविट दिया कि हमें 2 साल और चाहिए। आप देखिए इन बातों की, एक सरकार तो दिल्ली में है, कल इन्होंने एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की और कहा कि हम लोग जिन्होंने मलकाना हक दिला दिया है हम लोगों को सच नहीं बता रहे। खुद आप 2021 तक का टाइम मांग रहे थे नक्शे बनाने का, वो नक्शे का काम हमने 3 हफ्ते में पूरा कर दिया। हमने रजिस्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस चालू कर दी और हम कुछ ही हफ्ते में ये प्रोसेस कंप्लीट कर देंगे और लोगों के हाथ में मलकाना हक मिल जाएगा।
And at the event, BJP's Delhi Unit President Manoj Tiwari said that under the leadership of Modi government, several important steps have been taken in the interest of traders as well.
हमको जितना बीजेपी को सीलिंग का दर्द हुआ है मेरे व्यापारी भाई बहन, उतना थोड़ा सा दर्द भी उसका अगर आम आदमी पार्टी या कांग्रेस को हो जाता तो 351 सड़कें नोटिफाइड हो जाती। किसी की हिम्मत नहीं होती कि आकर के सड़क पे सीलिंग करे हम लोगों की, लेकिन वो तब भी नहीं हुई, आज भी नहीं हुई। इसलिए मैं आप सबको याद ही दिला सकता हूं, बीजेपी सिर्फ सत्ता के लिए काम नहीं करती, हम लड़ रहे थे और मुझे खुशी है कि व्यापारी समाज भी मेरे साथ खड़ा था, लेकिन मैं नहीं था, मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी का अध्यक्ष था, इसलिए सीलिंग तोड़ करके मैंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक की लड़ाई लड़ी। सर, हम लोगों ने 90% सीलिंग के रास्ते को रोक दिया है और अब हम लोग बहुत जल्दी सीलिंग का डी सीलिंग ड्राइव करने के लिए आगे बढ़ेंगे। उसमें भी आपके साथ हम पूरी तरह से खड़े हैं, हम आपको डी सीलिंग ड्राइव दिखाएंगे सर।
And now our special segment on environment and climate change. With the bushfire season starting earlier than usual in the southern hemisphere, thousands of people have been asked to evacuate due to increasing fire risk in Australia. More than 30,000 people are to be evacuated from states including Victoria, New South Wales and South Australia as they are at a heightened risk from high temperatures and strong winds. This season's bushfires have killed 10 people, destroyed more than 1,000 homes and squashed more than 3 million hectares of land. The fires have also shrouded Sydney and other large cities in a toxic smoke haze, forcing children to play indoors and causing professional sporting events also to be cancelled. Now, conditions are expected to deteriorate over the next 2 days in New South Wales, where 100 fires were burning on Monday morning. Now, scientists say that climate change is creating a longer and more intense bushfire season. The country is also struggling with a prolonged and devastating drought. On to some sports news now. India will take part in the Commonwealth Games to be held in Birmingham in 2022. The Indian Olympic Association has withdrawn its threat to boycott the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham over shooting's exclusion. It also announced that the country will bid to host either the 2026 or the 2030 edition of the Games. The IOA, the apex body of the Olympic Games in our country, will now approach the government to seek the necessary approval to host the Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Games Federation President Dame Louise Martin has welcomed the confirmation of India's representation at the Games. The country hosted the 2010 edition in the national capital. And with the world ready to usher in New Year, elaborate security arrangements have been made for the celebrations in the national capital. Security has been beefed up across the national capital in order to ensure orderly celebrations. The Mumbai police has also made elaborate security arrangement for New Year celebrations. Special anti-Eve teasing squads will be deployed at crowded places across Mumbai city and in Delhi as well. In Mumbai, the Central Railways has announced that it will run 4 additional suburban services between CSMT Kalyan and CSMT Parvel stations after the midnight tonight for the convenience of the New Year revelers. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.